What up, dudes? What's going on? So listen, it's like the weekend before Christmas week right now. I'm on a Sunday, and I got a ton of work to do. Skateboarding's going to be a little bit of an issue for me today. I'm probably going to get a ramp session in later. The blunt stall's on my radar. I noticed some YouTube videos last night, late for bed, checking it out, some tutorials on that blunt and being able to like ollie it back in. That might be a good angle for me. I'm going to attempt it. I'm going to go for it big time. Pad up. On that little baby ramp in the garage, pad up. I'm going to go for it, try to hand grab it, come in fakey. Then I'm going to try to ollie. Preferably, I'd like to ollie like a backside kick turn. I don't know if that's called ollie, but whatever you do, that little click flick thing. I'm going to do that. The reason I'm here now is I want to talk about ramps. I want to talk about transition. Because I have a ramp in my garage, and that's a confined area. So a lot of people have questions for me, and they post a lot of questions to me on every kind of social media. Dude, what about your ramp? I know you said it. I apologize. I'm asking again. You can almost not say some of these things enough. So I want to talk about ramps. I want to talk about the ramps I've ridden, and I want to talk about radius. Got you guys. So radius is basically a circle, right? The measurement of the radius depends on how big the circle is, right? So if the circle gets bigger or bigger, it goes, 3 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet, 6 feet, 7 feet, 8 feet. So the bigger the circle gets and the height of the ramp determines how much, transition you're going to get out of it. So if you want more details, go look online. Google it. I get a lot of comments with some funny questions. Hey, where do I get that board? It's like, open up Google. I can do it, or you can just do it because let's face it, I'm not going to do the homework for you because you're not going to check. Anyhow, you're not even going to come back and read the comment reply, probably. Anyway, back to this transition. So, being 50 and being the fact that I haven't ridden a whole lot of ramps, I'm mainly going to talk about 3. The ramp I used to ride at the friend Larry's house. He had the 4-footer in his yard. He had a 3-footer in his yard. And I've ridden the bamboo ramp. That's a 3-foot ramp. That one's super fun. And then we got the 2020 ramp at Steve's house. The one we're riding recently. The one we're in the process of still building. And then we got my garage ramp, my first garage ramp. So I've played with some radiuses, and I've ridden different radiuses and different heights. So the reason this conversation kind of got started is because when we had the live stream the other night, we had Adrian over. He first built a ramp, not for skateboarding. He bought one of those Rip Surfs, and he actually went out and invested the money to build a half pipe in his yard to ride a Rip Surf. And he just got on and found some generic measurements, probably copied that, and ended up with something that was a little bit too verty. And those kind of ramps are hard to ride. And I even hear a lot of like really good seasoned skaters talk about building something that's too hard for everyone to ride. And that's part of the issue with building a ramp. A lot of times, I know in his case, he went and bought a ramp from a professional ramp builder. And so they're building for, the best. What is the best all-around ramp? But is it the best for a 50-year-old skater? Is it the best for a brand new beginner or a kid? It depends on the age of your kid. If you got your kid and you want to start out there at 5, it's probably not the best bet. Best all around, gonna last you the longest in your skating career? Yeah, of course. Probably. But maybe not for a 50-year-old. How many more years do I have? I mean, I probably got 20. I think I can do this thing till I'm 70 maybe. If I stay healthy and eat right and get out of a sweatshirt that's 2XL, I gotta bring that down. But anyway, back to the ramp. So, I'm pretty sure I'm remembering this correctly. I think Barry ended up getting his 4-foot professionally built half pipe. If I'm for sure, I think it was a 6.5 foot radius, which is average, pretty darn average. I built my ramp in the garage, which is only 2 feet, at a 7-foot radius, which is easy. And the height has a lot to do with it. So 2 feet high at a 7-foot radius is not a challenge at all. A 6-foot radius at 2 feet high is going to be a little bit harder, right? I know that before I built a ramp with a 6-foot radius. That's the one my kids learned on. Our quarter pipe the first time had like a 6-foot radius. The second half pipe I built a 6.5-foot radius. And then this half pipe, I stretched it out to 7. So, and that's at 2 to 2.5 feet on all of them. I think the outdoor quarter pipe was 3 feet tall because I pushed it outside, and that had a sharp radius on that one. So besides dropping in, I could get up there and slash on it or whatever, but to really branch out and try to learn something I'm not familiar with, it's not the best. It just isn't. Again, I'm speaking for old dudes and kids, and for my channel, that's probably a majority of my viewers that are regular, are going to be guys that are learning or trying to teach their children. So this is why I wanted to bring this up. And it's mostly because of what Steve built. So Steve went outside the box, and I wasn't even trying to talk him into 8 feet. And Steve's a good skater. He has a lot of skill. He knows a lot of tricks. Like I just saw a video here recently on our Facebook group where Steve is pulling up some rock and slides, or whatever you want to call that, over a spine on this ramp that he built. But he told me in the beginning, because he called me to ask, like, hey, what do you think? What do you think we should do? And he seemed pretty into the 8-foot radius idea. Again, a more gentle transition. I could do it like this, right? 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot. So it gets a little easier. But anyhow, his deal was, if I'm going to spend all this money on this ramp, I want to build it for everyone. And people who know Steve love that about Steve. He's not just thinking about himself. He's not just thinking about making some gnarly ramp that other people can stand around and watch him in awe, like, how you doing that? And whatever, he really wants to build it for the group, for the friends of the group. Like, hey, I got a buddy. He's never dropped in before. Your ramp is perfect for that. Do you mind? He's that type of dude. And, just for learning tricks that we're all afraid of. I'm afraid to do a stall on a spine. I'm afraid to go to tail over a spine, I think I could go front side stall, backside kick turn on a spine. I think I could do that today. If his ramp was finished the last time I was there, I think I can do that. But can I? Can I really? I could have tried that at the San Marcos skate park. They have a big spine. But it's at like 6 feet high, 5-6 feet high. And it sketched me out the first time, so I never did it. Getting into a stall right there was sketchy. But on an 8-foot radius half pipe, all of a sudden, those kind of tricks are more accessible to me. It'd been 2 years since I've done a front side stand-up 50-50 grind. First day out on his ramp, which I admit was pretty slippery, and I had the wrong wheels out for the ramp that day. That's another video. I went straight into a stand-up 50-50 grind, and I jumped off the first one. I made the second one, and I wasn't even planning on it. It just happened. I'm coming in, lined up front side, just said, hey, WTF, let's hit it. And I did it. The reason I did it is because of the 8-foot radius. So before riding this ramp of Steve's, I would tell people, dude, build 3 feet. If you're in your 40s or 50s and you're not like some super stud from the 80s, build a 3-footer. The bamboo ramp's a classic example. That is a fun ramp. Nobody can knock that ramp. That ramp is perfect. It's just hard enough. Because it's 3 feet and it's a little lower, it's reasonable to try something that you never tried before. But I'm going to say this. The 2020 ramp out at Steve's house at 4 feet with an 8-foot radius, I think it's easier. Maybe I've gotten a little better. I've said before, like in the last live stream, I've noticed my foundation seems to be a lot more solid over the last, year, 2020. I've gotten better balance, and I haven't pushed learning tricks so hard. And I think I've been more focused at just the basics. And I feel it's benefited me slowing down and being a little less trick centered and just getting into just carving and having fun and being comfortable on the board and all of that stuff. So I think my skating has come a long way, but radius, that's all I can say. And it's hard to invest $4, $5, $6, $8,000, whatever you're going to invest in a ramp or a quarter. Maybe try it on a quarter pipe first, because if you end up liking it, you can end up using that quarter pipe in your half pipe plans later. So, all that stuff can be taken apart. Why not build it, check it out, and see, maybe you're brand new, maybe you're 60, maybe you got kids that are 5, and you want to give them something that they'll actually use. Because I'll be honest, my kids don't go out in my garage and want to use this thing unless I'm doing it. Which those are kids that have a ramp in their garage that they skate with their dad all the time. Because if I turn around and I built this ramp up in any of these other kids on my street's house, they'd be out there burning that ramp up every night. Right? Put a gym workout system in your garage and you won't be using it anymore. Go to the gym, you probably got a good chance of using it. Maybe. So anyway, it's worth the money to build it and find out. Take what I'm saying, think about it. If you're attempting to come into a ramp build right now, I think 8 feet is fine. Mini ramp tricks, 8 feet wide now. Whether you're going to go 2, 3, 4, 8 feet wide is fine. It's going to be basically your standard mini ramp tricks, rock to fakie, tail stall, fakie backside stall, fakie frontside stall, all of that. If you're going to try to do any grinds, like my garage ramp, I think you need at least 10 feet wide. 12 feet would be ideal for an indoor or garage ramp style. If you're going outside and you know how to grind, or you're really intending to learn how to grind and you're going to go easy radius, boy, 20 feet, you think 20 feet's enough, and it is, and you can come out on 20 feet in plenty of time, and it is, but you can definitely grind more than that, especially if you're going to have 2 feet of cushion outside your grinding area. You can get a good 15, 20 foot grind. You can. So after skating Steve's ramp again, even 24 foot ramp, that's money. It's super awesome. So that ramp's going to be pretty much unbeatable with the other side, which I noticed in a recent video that he started to sheet up and build and frame out the other side. So that thing's insane. So think about an 8 foot radius at 4 feet high. I've known people who've built 4 foot ramps and then been intimidated by it. And I'm going to admit, if I go over to Barry's house, probably even tomorrow, if I went there, I'd be intimidated by the way that 4 foot ramp feels. But it's because of the radius. Think about it. Have a good week. I can't wait till next week. I got the week off. I'm going to get to do some skating. I'm fired up about it. Right on. I guess I got to work Monday and Tuesday, though. Anyway, get in there, guys. Have some fun. Later.